I just make this video to help those students who are opting for TCS on-campus drive in 2018-19 session. And obviously, as your campusing is forthcoming, I just make one small video that might help you in this process of written test as well as the interview, and to get through this and uh, get into this organization. So obviously, what are the extra things I am doing through this? If you ask, then you know that all the syllabus, all the rounds, all the marks divisions, time divisions, all the things you already know, and those are all available in the internet. You can go and search of the TCS recruitment criteria of 2018-19 batch. You can get to know all of this from the net actually, right? So obviously from there uh, everything that is required, but here I just want to share with you some uh, practical scenarios that you may face, some strategical analysis that you may have to apply in on spot during the time of your written test or during the time of your interview. So what are those kind of strategical methods and concepts that you may apply, or the new idea or the instantaneous idea that you may have to apply during the time of your written test and interview? So that's why I just make this very short video actually, with the help of this small PPT. And obviously don't look what is written in the PPT, because it's a very short time. I do not write lots of things in detail. And just what is the main motive is that just listen very carefully what I am saying. Listen very carefully. You can use the headphone, you can just increase the volume of your speaker, and just keep calm and listen for this for some time. And I hope this will help. So let's move on to the things actually. So I hope all of you already have done these initial works, right? Registration on the TCS portal, apply for campus drive, and obviously the things that those are required for the documents that those are required for your on campus drives, for written test as well as for interview. I hope everyone should have done this. So yeah, the most important thing is that the rounds, right? So clearing the written test or rounds. One thing is that every year TCS is having one s- uh, exceptional criteria for the test exemption case. That means if you get some certain marks, above certain marks, for those students who do not have to apply or sit for the quantitative aptitude part, and the coding part, programming and coding efficiency part. And obviously these two are not there for them, but they have to sit for the email writing, and they have to do the code with C or so. So obviously you know that all the students are not in that category. Every year TCS selects one particular CGPA, 8.5, 8.6 around for BTech and MTech students, slightly higher maybe for MTech students. So every year TCS is having that kind of cutoff. It varies every year. So the students who fell in that category, no need to worry about this two round, but those who are not have to prepare all these rounds. So here again, what I told you initially in in this video is that I'm not going to tell you about the syllabus, what you have to do, because you know what you have to do, right? You can go to internet, you can check the process, check the syllabus, you can know everything, the timing variations, the mass distribution, all you know. But the extra little thing that I am going to tell you, and obviously very precisely, some of the practical scenarios that I should tell you. So if I start from the first round, that is the email writing round, if so, what are the key points that you need to remember in email writing? See, you know all the things, but I'm only going to tell you the extra bit of things that you may not know actually. So the thing is that obviously you are given with a 10 minutes time and you have to write an email. So what you have to do is that suppose seeing the question you get nervous and you don't know what to do, how to write, how to link up those keywords sequentially. If you don't know, at least do this. What I'm saying, just do this very, very precisely. In your email, use all the keywords that is given, and obviously use those keywords sequentially. Suppose you fail to link up those keywords, just use them without any linking, without any proper sentence, with some incorrect or improper sentence also. Use them with proper spellings and with proper sequence in which they are given, right? Use a particular format, obviously the format of a standard email writing. Use that format, and obviously restrict your word limit. That means you should write some words above the minimum words limit, and obviously should not make it too much, right? And remember, these keywords you should only apply when you find some email that is some kind of odd, that is not coming into your mind, how to link up, then how to make some words or sentences, then do this kind of strategies. Again, I'm telling you that these are some shortcut tricks. These are some what can I say, some tricks, I must say. These are not the logical procedure, and obviously you need to clear this somehow to get into the next round. Obviously each rounds are qualifying in nature, so if you do bad in any of these rounds, you may not be eligible to sit for the interview. So these are the things you keep in mind. Obviously I am here to just help you out with these small strategies, right? I'm not going into the technical concepts, right? So that you already know by default and from your pre-placement talk actually. So again, what I'm saying is that use all the keywords sequentially, even if you fail to reconstruct a sentence. And what to do if you do not have at all any sentence or any words, and you see that your total words number is not cross the cutoff, then just please add some words, right? Some arbitrary words, some arbitrary sentence to at least cross that cutoff. These programs are not gonna check by any kind of person. It's a machine who will check this all mail writing. So obviously this machine is not that intelligent to check your strategies or the making of the sentence. But again, it does not mean that you intentionally write wrong sentence or do only these kind of things. I am telling for this, for those who get nervous, who get afraid, and somehow obviously you lose your calm. Obviously 10 minutes mail writing is very easy. If you keep your calm, if you just sit and concentrate, you can definitely write with no such kind of changes, no such kind of tricks. You can do it by your own, and you can do it very well. Obviously give a small revision, don't make any spelling mistakes, and these are the things, right? So I hope it's clear. And again, I'm saying is that this is the tricks. You should not learn this. You may apply this, right? May apply this, but this is not the right way, I know, but these are the tricks that you need to follow to just get through this mail writing. Obviously for all it's not very easy. Obviously for those who it's easy, that's very fine. For those who is finding email writing is also tough, then for them I can tell these kind of strategies, right? And the thing is that in online you have already various sites in which you can practice this mail writing. Then go and practice them online. Mail practicing site with which using this you can easily through for this email writing, obviously. And please make sure that no words, no keywords that is given that is the words that is given with your mail question should not be missing. um, Use all the words sequentially the way they are given, and uh, follow the particular format, right? So yours, dear respected sir, or thanks and regards, this kind of thing need to follow. You can get the standard format in mail, in websites also. So that's all for the email writing purpose, right? So I hope everyone can able to get through this email writing, right? Someone can get through this email writing without following my instruction. uh, who Those who are very good in English, very smart in English writing, then for them I think listening to this is like wasting a time, I know. But for them who is again struggling, again getting very much afraid what to do, how to do, then for them it's a suggestion, right? So next is that the quantitative aptitude and reasoning round. Obviously, again here you know the syllabus, you know the question pattern, you know the time distribution, all you know. But what to do again in that case? Obviously, you may get 20 odd questions, and I guess 40 minutes time must be there. In the last year, the scenario was like that. But here, what to do again? Kindly make sure that you attempt or you at least read all the questions, right? That means it should not be like your time is up and you fail to read the last two or three questions, right? So kindly go through all the questions at one go with the initial start, right? When you are starting doing the questions from the very beginning, at least try to read all the questions at once. And obviously in between the questions that you find easy, solve and mark them. But the questions that are not easy, then for them just mark for review or you may skip. That's the one important thing. The second is that the star mark question, right? Star mark question carries higher marks. I agree, but that does not mean that if you attempt it wrongly, your marks will be deducted in a high basis. That means until unless you are pretty sure about the star mark question, then don't answer. Okay, even if it may so happen that suppose there are 5 star mark question and you have to leave 5, I suggest leave 5. Don't even attempt a single one without knowing the answer. If you don't know the answer of any of them 5, leave all, right? If you attend the questions of star mark which you are pretty sure, okay. Obviously if you have to leave 5, then make sure that the 15 question obviously you have to do correctly. And these are the things actually, right? And obviously star mark carried higher weightage also. If you can somehow able to do some star mark question, obviously that will definitely benefit you. Again, obviously the thing is that the not star mark, the general question also carries negative marks. So here in this section, don't mark or put your tick arbitrarily, right? Without knowing an answer, please don't tick, right? So that won't help you at all. Okay, so no, now these are the things that I guess everyone knows, right? So what are the extra things? Now you have to listen this very carefully. And again, these are not those kind of intelligent things that I'm going to tell you. Again, this is the kind of thing that you get nervous, you somehow you fumbling in the examination, you get afraid, cannot able to proceed. Then what to do, right? So see, things happen in interview and this written test room. Things happen, right? So that's why I'm telling you again, if you are good in this quantitative section, no need to listen at all. And if you just listen one time, just wasting some bit of your time, and then just forget it about. But those students who are not good at this quantitative aptitude and reasoning, what to do. Yes, that's the solution is not at all accepted, but obviously you have to qualify. That is, if possible, try to listen from your friends and get some suggestion and the question, as because the questions are not uh, separate or different at all. The questions are repeated, they are arranged, but they may not be arranged in sequential fashion. That means the question that is at one one number in your paper, that may appear in the fifth or sixth number in your friends. So if possible, try to do a bit of discuss, but not do that much cheating that you get caught and you simply lose the chance. Obviously you may be thrown out, someone may throw out from you from the room actually. So don't do that kind of thing. So if possible, do it, sit uh, according to the some groups, obviously your friends. So this is the only way. Again, I am telling that this is not a intelligent way, this is not at all a valid way, I know, but still, if you get stuck, you get nervous, don't sit quietly and just keep time pass. Don't do it. Try to do something to get into, right? And obviously, if those things is not possible, whatever the place you have put into, whatever the place you sit, then keep calm and do the questions that you can able to do correctly. Okay, so that's the only thing you must follow. And I should not go in detail what kind of questions will be asked, because these all things are available in net, because all things have already been discussed in your pre-placement talk. So I'm not going into that actually. Okay, the next and very important thing, that is programming and coding efficiency, or programming language checking efficiency. And for non ITCS students, these two section, this section and the next section is difficult, is tough, no doubt. The IT and CSE students, those who are good in programming and coding, for them it is easy. But for those students who are not good in coding and programming, for them it's tough, it's undoubtedly tough. Then what to do and how to do? Here I must suggest you one book. That book, obviously, you have to learn, right? That is Let Us See by Kanetkar. This book you have to follow. There's no option, no other option. And the questions of this section is obviously having same kind of weightage, similar kind of star marked, similar kind of negative markings also there. So all the things are same, just as the previous round. But here what you can do is that do as many question from Let Us See as possible. The questions are not, I am not saying that the question will be the copy paste, but the questions will be just similar like those, right? So these sections, the suggestion that from which part I have to study a lot and which section I have to pick up is cannot be done, right? The suggestion cannot be made, as because almost from all the section you may or may not get question. So it's very difficult to suggest, because if I suggest and if you just move, if you just d- go into only those chapters, it may so happen that you do not find any such kind of question. So again, what I'm telling you is that just keep calm and do the questions that you can able to do, and solve as many questions from Let Us See as possible. And in the examination also, the same strategy. Don't answer a question just by just by any guess, or any arbitrarily tick marking a question won't help. So please don't do any such kind of things. The next thing is that obviously practicing many problems and coding can only help this section actually. But though this section is kind of tough, though this section may make students very much afraid, but But there is one advantage of this section and the next section. The advantage is that if you prepare these two sections well, that means your technical round is getting much more easier. So that's the very, very important plus point that this two section is having. That means if some students can able to clear these two sections and have confident to clear these two sections, then the technical round of interview the student is going to get through, because the question, similar kind of question and concept will be asked in your technical round. So obviously that is the plus point. So obviously you are not only preparing for this section, but you are also preparing for the next section as well, that is your interview technical section. So obviously the students have to prepare for the technical interview section also, so that thing will help you, right? So your hard work is not going into vain, right? So many students, mainly mechanical, electrical engineering, production from MTech and BTech from non CSAIT students, when this section was added in 2017, complained that why this kind of things has been added. See, the main reason behind this is that when you get into TCS, obviously it's an IT company and you need to learn some of the coding, and in latter case you need to do coding with a little bit of coding. You have to use tools and you need to know some basics of coding. Without this you can't exist, can't do anything in TCS. So that's why when you get into TCS, you have to go through the initial learning program, IRPs, and different tests were there. Uh, Even different tests are there. So there you have to do coding, right? So to make this training period easy, to make those tests easy for the students, this step has been these steps have been taken. And obviously this help you a lot if you join TCS, and in the IRA, in the initial learning program, ILPs also, you get so much advantage with the help of this. So obviously with this motivation you should do this programming and coding efficiency, and the next portion, that is coding with C, that you need to do. So these two sections, preparation of these two sections is important. Okay, now in this section, that is code with C or C++, maybe C++ or Java, maybe, I don't know, I just forget actually, that will be mentioned in the question. I think it's generally should be done with C only, I think so. So again, here I'm going to give you some tips, some important strategical tips that you need to apply on spot, right? So here I'm not going to tell you about the coding, how should you code, how should you write the code, how should you draft the algorithm. I'm not going to tell you, because the sample questions, the types of strategies, those kind of strategies you easily find in net, and same is already being taught in the pre-placement talk. So the first thing you need to keep in mind is that using command line arguments. So using this command line arguments, that means no value should be passed by user while running the program. Everything will be passed through the command lines. It's very important. I hope you prepare this command line argument programming very well in C. Another thing is that don't make any kind of infinite loop, because once your code, you check obviously when you are checking your code, if it has somehow some infinite loop, then you do not get any second chance to uh, uh, rectify your code. So obviously don't make any kind of infinite loop. What you have to do is that before checking, before compiling, just check your program for a lot of time. Obviously keeping your head calm, just focusing on the code, you have to check for errors, whether your algorithms is correct or not. Just check, and obviously don't make any errors, and just you have to keep your head cool. What this section need is that you have to keep your head cool, because let me tell you, the types of program that you need to do in this case is easy and conventional, right? So some kind of some kind of series, right? Some kind of Fibonacci series, some kind of Armstrong number, programs with prime numbers. In a series you have to find the prime numbers. You may have to sum the prime numbers from 1 to 100. So these these basic kinds of programs that you need to do, right? The programs were not that much difficult, obviously. Just reversing one integer, checking one integer is palindrome or not. So these kind of program, that's a very basic programming in C you need to do. But you need to do this programming with command line argument. So you need to keep your head cool, right? So just keep your head cool, don't get panic, and stay focused for this round. These are the only thing that can help you with coding with C, and obviously with C only, I guess. No other programming language is required. So this, so again, the final thing that I need to tell about this coding section is, if your code does not run, that's the question of many students. What happen if my code does not run? What happen if the output is wrong? Again, the this answer of this thing is that it does not mean that you are out of the game, you are out of this recruitment dive. It does not mean that, because in your final analysis, TCS is going to check the all the rounds performance of yours, right? Every round that how you perform is has been checked. Again, another strategical advice is that, what happen if a student do poor in previous section, that means in programming and coding, but he successfully run his code in C, right? So that's one advantageous case, right? That I must suggest you that if you fail to do good in programming and coding efficiency, try to write your code well, right? Try to code this section well, right? Try to give correct output, and obviously with no errors, right? If you do such kind of programming, then chances of your chances of cutting out this written test round and going into interview is higher for you, obviously. So this is my suggestion, is that just code the try to code whatever the question is given correctly, right? So it is not that tough. What I'm saying is that it is not that tough, right? Unfortunately, in some cases you get some tough program, unfortunately. In that case, try to do the coding, right? So try to do the coding and write something. Don't leave it blank, and don't do the kind of programming where it's showing that you do not at all understand the question. You understand you have to understand the question well. Even if you don't know how to code, how to write the program for that question, write whatever it's coming into your mind. Don't leave it blank and submit it, right? So these are all about your technical section, right? Sorry, it's all about your written test section. There's four section you need to cover in your written test. So I think this is all I must say. What I again repeating is that some small strategical thing in email writing, you need to use all the words. You need to use them sequentially. You need to use the format. These are the keywords. Something again in the second and third round, obviously this no one can help you except your friends, your beloved friends can only help you. So make a group, sit accordingly, get some help, and discuss among them, and don't get caught. So only things, and again in the last round, try to do the code without error. And if you can able to do the code successfully, that means you almost 80% your chances are there you are going into the interview, right? So these are the things. And obviously these two sections are mandatory for those, sorry, this last section is mandatory for those who are test exempt also. So obviously for them, this round is also important. I guess the last round is also there, I guess, the programming and code efficiency, I guess. So last two rounds must be there, I guess, for the text exempt. Only the quantitative and reasoning portion I think was not there for the test exempt candidates, but remaining all the sections I guess it's there. So for them also again have to do the code correctly, and again do the and try to give your best in the programming and coding efficiency part, obviously, because don't need to worry about, because if you are good in these two, then technical round is a high chance that you get through in the technical round. So this all about your written test, how should you go through and qualify and and clear this rounds. I hope you understand it, um, and obviously with these suggestions try to follow the other conventional and standard strategies also, and you may obviously definitely do well. So in the next section I will discuss you about how to qualify or what to do to get through the interviews, right? There's several sections in interviews also, so how to prepare for the interview and what are again the key points of the interview. So that's all.